Chapter 46. The Tigers on One Mountain. Seeing that Keisha had no follow-up move, Xiang Shan immediately took a large step forward, charging towards him. Without hesitation, Keisha pushed the two nearby chairs forward again, blocking the space between himself and Zhang Shan. Xiang Shan, with his large frame, was already somewhat slow in his movements, and the two chairs nearly caused him to trip. A dragon battles in the wilderness when its path is exhausted. Taking advantage of the moment, Keisha sprinted, stepped onto the chairs. Yeah. Before Zhang Shan could regain his balance, Keisha pounced directly onto him, riding on his back. Keisha knew Zhang Shan was fundamentally different from Xiao Yanjing and Old L. There was no way Zhang Shan would yield to intimidation, so before he could react, Keisha straddled him and began throwing punches at his face. Zhang Shan immediately curled his arms up, protecting his chin and the sides of his face, while keeping his eyes on Xia's shoulders, trying to anticipate his next punch and block the oncoming attacks. Xia's fists rained down on Zhang Shan's arms, feeling as if he were punching a wall stiff and unyielding. Kid, you have a death wish. Taking advantage of a moment when Xiang Shan spoke, Keisha threw a punch between his arms, aiming straight for his nose. But Zhang Shan seemed to have anticipated this and clamped his arms together, stopping Xia's fist mid-dread. He then grabbed Xia's arm, twisted it to the side, and flung him off, freeing himself from the grapple. I really underestimated you. Zhang Shan slowly stood up, brushing the dust off his body. Were you a hitman before you came here? Who fights like that? Keisha also stood up, his expression serious, gasping for air. The surprise attack had been his all-or-nothing move, but Zhang Shan seemed barely affected by it. Hey, hey, hey! Xiao Yanjing rushed forward at this moment, looking anxious. Why are you two fighting? Calm down. I can't calm down. Zhang Shan laughed angrily. Today, I'm going to beat this kid until he admits defeat. Before Keisha could think of another plan, Zhang Shan flipped all the chairs out of his way and charged forward again. His thick arm swung towards Xia's face like a massive pillar. At the last second, Yao Jiejin reached out and hooked Zhang Shan's arm. It died. You can't hit him. Zhang Shan, surprised to be blocked, increased his force, but the slender, tattooed man in front of him had remarkable strength, rendering Zhang Shan unable to move. Another meddler. Zhang Shan snorted. Why can't I hit him? Because he's my brain? Yao Jin smiled harmlessly. If you damage his head, the both of us will end up down. He's your brain? Zhang Shan disamusing. Then what are you? Me? Yao Jiyan let go of Zhang Shan's arm, took off his jacket, revealing his tattoos and muscular build. If I have to say, I'm his fist. Zhang Shan raised an eyebrow. Interesting. Then see what this fist can do. Without another word, Zhang Shan assumed a boxing stance, his left arm raised to protect his chin, while his right arm swung towards Yao Jiejin with the motion of his hips. Yao Jiejin ducked, dodging the punch and rushing forward. He immediately threw a right uppercut, but Zhang Shan leaned back, avoiding it, and quickly repositioned himself, extending his right arm to maintain distance between them. In just a brief exchange, both men realized that the other had real skills. Zhang Shan hesitated for only half a second before stepping forward again, throwing a heavy left punch. This time, Yao Jiejin didn't dodge. Instead, he grabbed Zhang Shan's arm, leapt into the air, twisted his body in a full circle, and hooked his leg around Zhang Shan's neck, using his weight to drag Zhang Shan down to the ground. Both of Yao Jiejin's hands locked onto Zhang Shan's arm, pulling it between his legs. One leg pressed against Zhang Shan's neck, and the other was preparing to press against his chest, a textbook armor submission from mixed martial arts. Zhang Shan was momentarily stunned, but quickly realized what was happening. If Yao Jiejin managed to fully extend his arm, Zhang Shan would be finished. With this in mind, Zhang Shan clasped his right hand tightly with his left, interlocking his fingers, preventing Yao Jiejin from straightening his arm. He couldn't believe how a street punk like Yao Jin could execute such a precise technique. Zhang Shan had some understanding of combat techniques himself. Although he hadn't yet broken free from the armor, he hadn't allowed Qiao Jiajin to succeed either. Seeing that Zhang Shan's left hand wasn't budging, Qiao Jiajin planted his foot on Zhang Shan's right arm, using the strength of his legs to force Zhang Shan's hands apart. Zhang Xiao, now sweating profusely, knew that his interlocked fingers wouldn't hold much longer. Sure enough, Zhang Shan's hands separated, and his left arm was instantly pulled straight. The sharp pain made him cry out, and his large frame allowed him to quickly twist his body and punch at Qiao Jiajin's abdomen with his right hand. Qiao Jiajin retracted the leg, pressing against Zhang Shan's neck, blocking the punch with his knee. Zhang Shan saw a glimmer of hope and continued throwing punches with his right hand, forcing Qiao Jiajin to repeatedly block with his knee. The key to successfully performing an armbar lies in controlling the opponent's arm while using your legs to lock down their neck and chest. But Qiao Jiajin had to retract his leg to defend, allowing Zhang Shan to begin standing up. Zhang Shan forcefully pulled his left arm free and flipped himself up, attempting to pin Qiao Jiajin beneath him. But Qiao Jiajin extended his right leg, pushing Zhang Shan away. Unable to close the distance, Zhang Shan continued throwing punches at Qiao Jiajin. Meanwhile, Qiao Jiajin kept his arms up, rocking left and right, while using his right leg to maintain the gap between them. Seizing an opportunity, Qiao Jiajin suddenly dropped his right leg, hitting Zhang Shan hard. Zhang Shan lost his balance once more, nearly falling. Qiao Jiajin seized the moment, sprang up, and moved behind him, wrapping his right arm around Zhang Shan's neck, with his left hand clasping his right. Qiao Jiajin executed a rear naked choke, pulling both of them back to the ground. Just as Qiao Jiajin was about to tighten the choke, he noticed something was off. Looking closely, he realized Zhang Shan had wedged a hand between his neck and Qiao Jiajin's arm, preventing the choke from fully taking effect. Although Zhang Shan had blocked the attack, he wasn't in a good position either. He had protected his throat, but his hand was now trapped. At this point, both men were locked in a stalemate, unable to break free from each other. Hey, big guy. Qiao Jiajin gritted his teeth and said, "How about you surrender? Just call me boss, and I'll let go right now." "Screw you. I'd rather die in your grip than admit defeat." Zhang Shan flexed every muscle in his body, searching for a way out. But Qiao Jiajin's hold was stable, leaving him with no openings.